Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And for all my new subscribers, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks a lot. Well, today's topic is more about my village. um, we are we're a tiny little village, and this one is like there's 2,400 people here. It's very old, and I think for anybody who's watched before, I've said it before. We are a non a very totally non-diverse place, and everybody here is white, so totally white place, and we have a lot of film stars, television stars, millionaires, and we now have a billionaire, which is really something. Hey, we're on the map. But there's a lot of musical people here. There's a lot of film, television, a lot of dynasty families, and we have a lot of authors and writers and stuff. This is like Hollywood on steroids here. And the thing I think that attracts people to this area is, yes, it is. It's a very beautiful place, and it's very calm and quiet. But they can, walk around unbothered by things. Most of the people are not noticeable. I mean, for years, I had a friend in the village, and I never knew that she was a famous writer because I basically, you meet somebody, you're standing in line at the butcher shop, and you're chit chatting about whatever. And hi, my name is Ruth, oh, my name's Alexa. Hi, how are you? And then years down the road, you find out that she's a famous author, And when I was a kid, I'm from Southwold, which is a village further down. There used to be a lady that would sit and click away on her typewriter in her beach hut, and I would pedal my bike by as a child, and she would tell me to go and fetch something for her, do an errand or whatever, or take something to the post box or whatever. And for years, I always knew her by her regular name, and had no idea that it was P.D. James. You don't know these things. When you're a kid, you don't recognize it. But also here, we have a lot of famous people that just walk the streets and nobody bothers them because it's like Ed Sheeran going down the road with his wife and kids. Most of the people my age don't listen to his music, so they have no idea who he is. And a lot of the people that are his age and his fans don't walk. No, that sounds terrible. I shouldn't really say that, but it's true. But yeah, no, I saw him walking down the boardwalk with his wife and kids one day, and he's totally unrecognizable. If you don't listen to his music, I mean, if he wasn't wearing a hat, you would have seen the copper-colored hair, and you'd have known, oh, Ed Sheeran, or you'd look twice because of all the tattoos if they're visible. But in this cold weather, he was covered up and you don't see it. But I just happen to know who he is. But yeah, I mean, people walk around and nobody knows who they are. I mean, there's a couple of people that live in the village that are noticeable, and you do see them, and they do go out in the summertime, which is something the most famous people around here don't do, because in the summertime it's chaotic here. Even I don't like it in the summertime. But yeah, I mean, we have Bill Nighy who lives here, and he's very noticeable because he looks just like he does in the films, and he looks the same as every day. So he is recognizable, and tourists will stop him and ask for a selfie, but regular inhabitants won't bother him when he's out and about. But we have a new guy, and I don't know much about Game of Thrones. My sister is very into it, and she'd know who he is. But we have one of the top performers or something from Game of Thrones who's now a new inhabitant. But I wouldn't know him if I fell over him. But yeah, no. So we have a lot of people, but we have a new film star that's moved to our neighborhood, Keira Knightley, and she's been out and about in the pubs and dining and traveling around, and totally, unbothered, by this. People just don't flock over and try to disturb people. You live here. You're part of our community. Get on with your life. And it's the same with the Freud family. The Freuds have lived here since 1920s or something, and they're the old Sigmund Freud family and all of that. And they're into a lot of the film stuff because Emma Freud is married to Richard Curtis, who is a producer. He produces Notting Hill, Love Actually, Four Weddings and a Funeral, lots of stuff. He's very prominent. And also we have the Monty Python people. Michael Palin's grandmother used to live in Southwold. I mean, she passed away sadly, but also Michael Palin met his wife in Southwold because his wife is from this area. So you used to see them all the time in the summer, during the summer, and the Freuds, Emma's mother used to run Joan or Jill Freud. She used to be an actress, so she was known by different names. But she used to run the summer theater, and you used to get a lot of famous people coming down for the summer theater. So you'd see all sorts of people wandering in the streets down then. But nobody bothers anybody, and we have footballers here. The younger people, if they go into the pubs, then they know who they are. But we have them. And one of my videos was showing one of their houses. It's like a very modern thing with lots of like weird looking stuff in the garden. They have a life-size giraffe in their garden. But they are a little odd, but everybody else sort of blends into the countryside, and lives in ordinary houses and stuff like that, and doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And we have a load of gentry here too, but apparently this billionaire is one that owns a lot of clothing stores all over Europe and big chains of clothing stores. I haven't run into them yet, don't know who they are. And we have, we're noted for having a lot of very famous and very wealthy people around here, and it's one of those things. But yeah, no, so we're on the map. We're a quiet, sleepy little town that's full of intrigue and no murder and mayhem, but we're the Beverly Hills of the Suffolk coast. And anyway, so so that's really, it's like a slow news week here this week. I don't have a lot to talk about. There are some, sad things going on along the coast here. We're having a lot of coastal erosion, and some dear friends are just losing their house, which is it's a sad thing. And I'll do a video about that because it's really something that affects everybody. You have a house and you've paid for it and you have insurance, and then it falls off the side of a cliff. What do you get for it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Insurance? Nope. Nothing. But that's another video that I'll make for you because it's really, really sad, that situation. But it also can affect, it rolls into a lot of other things that it can affect us on a different scale. But anyway, so that's all I have to say for today. So, I'll see you tomorrow. So please subscribe. Thanks so much. All right.